In a global context where economic power is defined by the control of currencies, a crucial change was announced. The BRICS nations decided to break free from their dependence on the dollar. The international community was surprised to discover that in trade agreements between these countries, national currencies began to surpass the dollar, which had traditionally dominated as the benchmark currency. This movement represents a break from the hegemonic financial system, symbolized by the dollar, which has held a central position in global transactions for decades. Leaders in the economic field, visionaries of financial change, pointed out that this bold step belongs to those who are not afraid to challenge the status quo imposed by the dollar. A transformation began to take shape that promised to be profound. Discussions in different forums, including economic conferences and strategic meetings, suggested that the BRICS were ready to redefine the world economic order. The goal was clear: to reduce unnecessary costs and complications arising from the use of the dollar in international trade. A horizon was glimpsed where currencies like the ruble and the rupee could operate freely without being tied to the restrictions of the US currency. One of the most powerful ideas that emerged in these discussions was the possibility of establishing a single currency for the BRICS countries. This currency would be a symbol of closer and more balanced economic cooperation, with the promise of economic parity that could alter the global financial balance. In addition, there was talk of introducing digital currencies, which would add an additional layer of innovation to the financial structure of these countries. The use of digital currencies would not only facilitate transactions, but would also further reduce the influence of the dollar in international exchanges. The reality is that the volume of use of national currencies in agreements between BRICS countries has already surpassed that of payments in dollars, marking a major milestone in the recent history of global finance. Several representatives of the BRICS countries underscored their satisfaction with this new arrangement, since the use of their own currencies eliminates the additional expenses and fluctuations that come with the dollar. This has allowed for greater stability in transactions and has strengthened the financial independence of the countries involved. The de-dollarization process is not new, but it has gained unprecedented momentum. In August of 2023, during a BRICS summit in Johannesburg, Brazilian President Lula da Silva formally proposed the creation of a common currency for the bloc. His goal was to reduce the vulnerability of these countries to fluctuations in the dollar, which have caused economic instability in various regions. This proposal was received with enthusiasm, not only within BRICS but also in other regional blocs, such as Mercosur. The idea of a common currency in South America also began to gain traction, with the hope that it could facilitate trade and improve local economies. Some academic experts, like Professor 𝗕𝗥𝗖𝗦, who teaches at international universities, have written about the urgent need to overcome the dollar regime, particularly in the context of Wall Street's dominance. This regime has maintained a strong influence on the global financial system, but recent crises and the economic weakness of the United States have highlighted the need for alternatives. In addition, the aggressive use of sanctions by the United States and its allies has pushed many countries to seek ways to reduce their dependence on the dollar, which has opened a space for platforms like BRICS to strengthen. The debate on de-dollarization has been especially vibrant among the countries that are part of BRICS. China, one of the main drivers of this group, has been a key advocate for the need to reform the global financial system and reduce dependence on the dollar. However, this process is not without its challenges. One of the main obstacles has been finding effective mechanisms to maintain currency reserves and ensure that world trade can continue without interruption as more countries move away from the dollar. Despite these challenges, the dollar's share of global reserves has gradually declined over the past 20 years. The BRICS countries have intensified their efforts to increase the use of their national currencies in internal trade transactions, and this has been a significant step towards strengthening a fairer multilateral system. In 2015, the creation of the new development bank was another milestone in this process. This bank, known as the BRICS Bank, was established for the purpose of financing development projects within member countries, avoiding dependence on traditional financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund or the World Bank, which often impose austerity policies. The expansion of BRICS, with the incorporation of new members in 2024, including Saudi Arabia, Iran and others, has reinforced the bloc's influence on the world stage. These new members bring significant strategic resources, such as oil and gas, which further increases the group's importance in the global economy. With this expansion, BRICS now represents almost half of the world's population, strengthening its position as a viable alternative to the dollar-dominated financial system. In addition to the financial aspects, the BRICS are also promoting greater cooperation in other areas, such as the media. The creation of a BRICS media group has been proposed to facilitate the dissemination of information and support the group's agenda on the international stage. Measures are also being discussed to simplify the accreditation of journalists and encourage greater collaboration between the media of the member countries.